Okay, let's switch over to your thing, basketball. Uh, how would you describe where this program is going into October this year?
With questions, they're nationally relevant. They're nationally, from what this program was before Kelvin Sampson to now is just amazing.
Yeah,
But the questions for sure, because this is the first year in the Big 12, which is either the top basketball conference in men's hoops. The Big East fans would say it's the Big East, 1A, whatever you want to call it there. But the question is, how will the Cougs style, talent equate from life in the American to the first year of life in the Big 12? I think it'll be fine. They're going to lose more games in the Big 12 because it's the Big 12.
yeah.
I'm not sure how many fans, Coug fans, are prepared for that. Cougs might lose 6, 7 games in conference and still go far in the tournament.
And be really good, right?
Yes, yes.
Uh, if you played well in the American, you didn't lose,
Right.
and you could play well in a half dozen games in the Big 12 and lose them all.
Yep.
And my question is, how do you bang from game to game inside? And you're going to have to rely on a couple of young guys to give you, if not major minutes, then at least significant. You're talking 15 or 20 minutes from Tugler and McFarland and Lott. And
I won't go Jacob McFarland. JoJo for sure.
yeah,
Lot, yes. I think JoJo is probably, well, offensively he's much more advanced and skilled than Cedric is.
right.
Cedric is bigger, stronger, just almost really naturally. And now working with Coach Bishop, he's in shape. He's in Coach Bishop's shape
Yeah.
for the Cougs. But the front court, the 4-5 position is the biggest question mark for the team. If they play well, they will be a big key to how far the team goes in the tournament. The guard position, the wing positions are the strength of the team because of inexperience, not as effective. I feel confident in saying that we're going to see some 4 guard lineups.
Yeah.
It's a question of how many minutes we'll see that and if they can rebound effectively in that 4 guard lineup. That fifth person, the big, would be most times Juwan Roberts. I think
Right.
sometimes it will be Jojo Tugler. Eventually, his offensive game is more advanced than Juwan's was at the same stage in Juwan's career, but Jaywan's career. But I'm going to Kelvin Sampson now. You got me all confused how to
Yeah.
pronounce
You,
his name.
you,
But JoJo's future is very bright. And if he can give them consistent minutes and rebound, and I'd be surprised, even though his low post game is pretty advanced as a freshman. I'm not sure if the coaching staff will trust him enough to give him to call plays for him in the post just yet.
yeah. I think part of the reason you have the non-conference schedule you do is for the youth of this team
Mhm.
and for JoJo and said to get that experience and to have some success
Yes.
because they're going to get the hell beat out of them in the Big 12.
Yes.
And I mean, like JoJo goes from being the best player he ever saw in a gym,
Hmm.
right, to routinely not being the best five in the building. And I mean, he's just going to get the hell beat out of him. I am fascinated to see Jawan Roberts at the level he's at now, back at the four where he belongs.
Yes.
And if JB Air Francis and Tugler and those guys can get it done at the five, what Juwan can do at the four. And you know this, you have been there. I have a bit of a relationship with him,
Hmm.
and I love the guy. Personally, he just makes me laugh, and I think he's a hard worker, and I
Mhm.
really believe he's like the ultimate teammate. And I really want to see what he can do. And for him, this is a level of basketball he's never been around or he's never played
Right.
in the Big 12. And y- Jamal played against these type of guys growing up. Juwan got it for a year or so in Killeen, but really it wasn't his life. And so I am fascinated to see what happens with that. Um,
Yeah, Javier Francis is a key
yeah,
because if he can avoid foul trouble, be a solid, consistent rebounder, and then be a presence defensively, and then just get some putback buckets here and there, and Juan can be comfortable at the four, then the team is balanced. There's a
yeah,
lot of pressure on Javier. His development has continued, is continuing, but they get consistent production from him, JoJo, and then Sid doesn't have to play a lot of minutes, but it's just those three guys you can count on at the five spot. This team could be really, really, really good. But the
yeah,
question mark is there because we're just not sure it's going to be happen consistently.
yeah. The difference in last year's team and this year's team was what,
No Jarris Walker, no
right?
just tremendously athletic player to just like wow kind of player up front. That's a big difference. And heck, obviously, no Marcus Sasser.
Yeah.
But LJ Cryer is not the one-on-one player Marcus was at UH.
Hmm.
LJ is probably a better three-point shooter. Consistently, Marcus can get he could get hot, but LJ percentage-wise is a better shooter, and range is similar. Marcus took a few deeper shots, but LJ's more consistent three-point shooter. Damian Dunn is a guy who can score in different ways.
He's
Emmanuel
going to go to the
Sharp,
line, he's going to
yes,
get to the line and be physical. And that's something I think last year's team did not have
yes, and they
is that
needed that. Yeah,
physicality. And Marcus and Jairus were a certain kind of basketball, and you're going to get a certain kind of basketball otherwise this year.
hmm
And you're going to need that in this league.
yes. They're gonna have to score different ways in the Big
Yeah.
12. I think they'll play faster, which is probably going to be necessary.
Yeah.
But you make a great point. Damian Dunn is a guy who can score through contact, draw fouls, make his free throws. Emmanuel Sharp is a spacer because of his 3-point threat. But how is he going to do in the Big 12? And this is the first year for all these guys, except for LJ,
Yeah.
really. So, talent, this team is talented. But, and the culture will still be there. They'll play defense, they'll play hard, they'll compete, they'll dive on the floor, all those Cougar characteristics. But, Ryan, Big 12 teams do a lot of that same stuff too. And some of them have more talent than the Cougs do. So that's going to result in more losses.
Yeah. Emmanuel is a fascinating character to me because I see practice shooting, I see scrimmage and pregame. He's making a lot more now than he
Mm,
ever has, and it just looks different. I've always loved the way the first practice I ever saw with Galen, he said, "Watch the way he shoots. Just watch how it comes off his fingers." And my basketball knowledge is way behind Galen's, but it was like, "Yep, that looks pretty. That's really nice to look at." And he was a great shooter a year ago, but he just there's something different. And man, I want to see that. I want to see that on the court in a game and see how it develops game over game and what has happened with his defense. Has he taken that next step? Because if he has, he's a guy you're going to have trouble getting off the floor.
right. If he, one of my pet peeves, folks who know me, follow me, Emmanuel had a problem last year. Well, his time on the court of going for foul and jump shooters.
Hmm.
If he stops doing that, that's a big plus for him defensively. He keeps himself on the floor, avoiding silly fouls, avoiding Coach Kelvin Sampson's wrath, fire, anger, profanity, all those things. Offensively, the 3-point threat is there. Some teams are going to try to run him off the 3-point line. He's improved his dribble drive to the hoop and finishing at the rim to become more of a complete player, offensive player, and that's just going to add to his game and make the Cougs a more of a threat offensively. This team could score some points. Terrence Arsenault, his second year, the potential is there, but if he finally trusts his shot, like his teammates and staff trust in his shot, to let it go without thinking about it. Should I shoot it now or should I pass it? Just shoot the ball. Okay, you're open. We got you open. We trust you to take the shot and make the shot. Do it. If he does
Yeah.
that, that'll help his game. Second year, he's more confident. I think he's getting stronger as well. Offense should not be a problem. Rebounding could be, but that's where I think Ramon Walker back on the team. Ramon could add rebounding from. I'm kind of curious where he's going to play.
Yeah.
He might see some time at the 4 to help with the rotation.
I mean, you brought up Terrence and then Ramon Walker, and it's like, oh yeah, he's there too.
Yeah.
Oh, he's there too. I mean, there is depth. There's
Mhm.
a lot of good players. I think the thing this team has to do is finish at the bucket.
Yes.
If you look at the numbers nationally over the last few years, they have been bad
And
at
Jamal's
finishing at the bucket.
one of the leaders at that. Yes.
Yeah, he really has been. And you think he's going to be, but you just have to finish stronger. And if they can, I mean, you're talking like a 5 to 8%. If you can just be a little better
Yeah.
at the bucket, that's going to make a huge difference in this league.
And that's one thing, the Cougar teams under Coach Sampson are known for not being great shooting teams,
Right.
but they rebound so well. But one of the issues, they're not being a great shooting team percentage wise, is they struggle to finish at the rim.
Yeah.
That is a big problem. If they finish better at the rim, their overall team percentage will go up. And then you'll be like, well, maybe they don't shoot as badly as we thought or as they used to. Well, they're finally scoring at a high clip at the basket.
Yeah. So there's a lot to look forward to. I mean, it's right around the corner.
Yep.
You've got the exhibition on the 29th and then
28th. 28th. Saturday 28th.
I'm sorry, the 28th. And then 9 days later, you play a game, the November the 6th against ULM to open the year. I'm ready. I think you're ready.
Oh, yes, for sure.
I'm ready to see what it looks like and how it looks in the Big 12. I have flights booked to Ames, Iowa, and Provo, Utah in January. And I am not a snow person. I am not that is not me. And, that might be the end for me.
I got to ask you a question.
Yeah.
What airlines flies to Ames, Iowa?
You fly to Des Moines.
Okay. That I know. I was like, okay, hold up.
Yeah, it's about 30 minutes of a drive. But if it's in the snow, it might as well be 8 hours for me.
Yeah.
Because we'll see. I might not make it to Provo next week. But it's an amazing schedule.
Yes.
And just the home games, I mean, you're going to have a lot of fun. If you have a season ticket, you can't miss a conference game. You could miss games in the American, and it's not a big deal.
Right.
But you can't miss one this year.
You shouldn't. And get there early because there will be fans from the opponents who will be there already. Because they're ready for this too.
I think U of H should send out an email saying, look, you know how this garage is, okay?
Yep.
It's a nightmare. Figure it out. Get
Yes.
there 10 minutes earlier than you think, and things will be fine. It would be nice to see a full home court advantage from the opening tip, which
Yes.
you have not had,
Correct.
and we'll see how that goes.
And
But
players notice that.
oh, 100%. You come out to a throng is way different than the under 8 timeout, and then you notice that
Yeah.
there's a big crowd. So Chris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review, one of the good guys, and he's covering football and he's obviously covering basketball. So thank you, Chris. Appreciate it quite a bit.
My pleasure, man. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.